Hi guys, so in this video I wanted to talk about some of the problems that World of Warcraft has been facing for some time now, at least in my opinion. And by problems I mean the problems within the game. I don't really want to touch on the lawsuit and all the allegations that have been made towards the company too much, as I'm nowhere near as informed as the people involved in the matter, and I do believe that it should be left up to the courts to decide. However, if you do want to know what I think on this matter, then I'd briefly say that where there's smoke there is fire, and right now there seems to be an awful lot of smoke coming out of Activision Blizzard. A number of people have been let go from the company, which would indicate that there is some truth to these allegations. I did post about the lawsuit on my community page for those who are interested. Now I am personally not boycotting WoW, as I don't believe it helps the good people at Blizzard, who will be in the vast majority and didn't do anything wrong. But if people do choose to boycott the game, then I have no issues with that, as everybody has the right to decide on what they spend their money on. Now whilst I don't think World of Warcraft is dying, I do think it has a number of issues that are making the player base frustrated. I believe that because of these numerous issues, that this is contributing to why World of Warcraft is consistently losing a lot of its player base. And when you lose players from a game, then it's a much more difficult task to get them back, because they find other things to replace the game with. So why has this happened? Yes, the recent allegations will be a reason for many, and I think that could have been the tipping point for most. But in my opinion, this was happening long before the news of the allegations emerged. I think it's pretty fair to say that the game overall hasn't been growing or evolving for some time now. Legion was the last time, in my opinion, that we got any real evolution of WoW, with the artifact weapon system, Mythic Plus dungeons and the Mage Tower challenges, which offered unique weapon transmog skins. But that was back in 2016, so as of this video, that was 5 years ago. Every expansion since is basically the same game with a different coat of paint on it. The coat of paint being the new kind of systems, aka artifact power, Azerite power, etc. The game right now is suffering from the same issues that affected both Warlords of Draenor and Battle for Azeroth, and that is the lack of content, boring and unrewarding systems, and in my opinion, time wasting treadmill mechanics. So regarding the lack of content, outside of dungeons and raids, there is nothing to do in the game. Yes, the dungeons and raids as always are great, but surely a subscription based MMO should have more to offer than just that. If you have completed the raids, or don't want to do them anymore for whatever the reason, then what is there for you to log in for? Seriously, what is there to do? World quests, pet battles, farm old content? I mean, okay, that's something, but would you buy WoW if that's how it was sold to you? Log in every day to do world quests and pet battles? Of course you wouldn't, as it's not worth it. Now I know the pandemic will have caused issues, so they do get sympathy there. But as a paying customer, as harsh as it may sound, that's not my issue to solve. World of Warcraft has 17 years worth of content, which could be used in current content in some way, shape or form. For example, excluding the current expansion of Shadowlands, World of Warcraft has around 50 raids and 107 dungeons, and yet they use none of these in current content. Forget time walking, because that's just auto queue, pew pew and win. They could make special dungeon or raid events using the assets they already have. They could scale up the dungeons or raids and introduce challenges that have to be met either solo or within a group. These could last for a few months before it expires to entice people to try it and stay subscribed. It could be done a bit like the Mage Tower challenge or Warlock Green Fire quest, where if you could complete a set of challenging but obtainable objectives, then at the end of the run you may end up with a special mount, pet, transmog or some other form of unique display / effect on your character. I mean, imagine if you completed a difficult solo challenge in the Maw of Souls dungeon from the Legion expansion, and your reward was a character display / effect that caused, for example, lost souls to swirl around your body. I mean, that would be so unique, and in my opinion it would make a lot of people want to try and obtain it. It's little things like that that can make a difference, and transmog is super popular in World of Warcraft. Surely it cannot be that hard to add something like that into the game on a recurring basis. I wouldn't have thought so, but maybe I'm wrong. Another issue is the constant system grinds for the so-called borrowed power or disposable power abilities. In Legion we had to grind artifact power, in Battle for Azeroth we had to grind Azerite power, and now in Shadowlands we have to grind Renown and Anima. In Legion this was new, and I did not mind it that much, as when you reached a certain amount of artifact points, you could obtain new abilities which affected your gameplay. It was not perfect and did have some issues, but for the most part for me it was enjoyable. Then Battle for Azeroth came along and Blizzard did the exact same thing, only this time your artifact weapon was replaced with your neck piece, aka the Heart of Azeroth, and you once again had to grind Azerite power to upgrade it, as well unlock certain abilities on your gear, just to be able to play the parts of the game you wanted to play. Now in Shadowlands, this has been replaced with Renown, and once again we are running on the exact same treadmill. This combined with all of the other forms of grinds and reputations, such as Anima, Stygia, Conduits, Soul Cinders, Codex Rep, as well as the hassle in just switching covenants if needed. Honestly, I'm just tired of it. This to me is not fun, and I've genuinely just stopped doing it. This is a problem of course if you want to do any of the endgame content, such as raiding at a decent level, as you have to reach certain levels to be able to do these things. Whatever happened to just getting your gear from a dungeon to get you ready to raid, then getting your gear and tier sets from raiding to allow you to progress to higher levels of raiding? The game was so much less of a hassle when that's all you had to do. I think World of Warcraft has become, for me at least, a game that you play in phases now, instead of a few times a week. I used to log into WoW and say, what should I do today? Now I log into WoW and say, what do I need to do today? And that normally involves completing some form of mandatory content. I'm now of the opinion that if you are not a raider or somebody who loves to do Mythic Plus on a regular basis, when World of Warcraft releases a new expansion, you only really need to subscribe for a few months, if that. If you want to enjoy a lot of the content, the first month you can enjoy the leveling experience, and then the dungeons, and then maybe subscribe for the first raid. Then you could just seriously cancel your sub and resub about a month or two before the end of the expansion. Then you will have all of the catch-up mechanics to get you through the current content faster. Gear will be a lot more accessible and easier to obtain, and any systems issues will be as good and as improved as they're going to get at that point. Then you can still enjoy all of the dungeons and raids to some degree. I myself have not played WoW for quite some time now, and I have cancelled my 6-month recurring sub. Going forward, I will now only purchase WoW on a month-by-month basis if I think there is content there that I want to play. So I am not quitting World of Warcraft, but as of right now, I don't see the value in paying in advance for World of Warcraft over a longer duration, as I no longer think that this format offers value for money. I really do hope Blizzard can pull themselves out of this mess, as WoW really can be an amazing game. But I hope Blizzard realise that it's the minority that will complain on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, or on the forums. The majority of the people who are tired, frustrated, and unhappy with the game, you won't even hear from at all. Those people will just quietly quit the game without making a song and dance about it, and you won't get them back. And I do believe that this is happening to some degree. Anyway guys, these really were just some brief, possibly jumbled up thoughts. There's so much more I could say, but please let me know what you think. So please do comment, like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.